Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go over the basics of tempo, what it is, and how it relates to the strength spread, which is the difference between the strength score that you have and that your opponent has, which ultimately determines who wins or loses a round of Gwent, and then ultimately a match after winning 2 out of 3 rounds. So in Gwent, the term tempo refers to the amount of strength you're able to swing in a single turn. So a play you make that doesn't put very many points on the board immediately, or doesn't remove much from the opponent, would be considered a low tempo play, and a play that puts a lot of strength onto the board in your favor, whether it be putting strength on your side or maybe removing some from the opponent's as well, that would be considered a high tempo play. So you can see in my hand here I have a full hand of cards. A card like Weather, the Spreading Frost, would be considered a very low tempo because all it does is apply a damage over time effect to the enemy. So in this particular situation, if I play Frost on my opponent, it doesn't actually let me overcome his current strength value. And the thing you always want to be keeping in mind every time you play a card is whether the card you're playing will overcome the opponent's strength value. So the strength spread, will it overcome that gap? And if it doesn't, you want to be careful about playing a card that doesn't do that, because you could put yourself at risk of your opponent maybe passing when it's their turn, and depending on the current situation with how many cards you have, that could make you lose cards and be disadvantaged going into later rounds. So I'll play out my Biting Frost here as an example of a low tempo play. So it only starts with 2 damage, which allows him to play another card. He played something fairly high tempo because this puts 14 points down immediately. So now he's ahead by quite a large number. He's ahead by 17 points. I am going to get 2 more points from my Frost for next turn, so I can factor that into my strength spread here. So he currently has 15, he'll have 15 points on his turn after the Frost. So if I want to overcome the strength spread in one card, I need to play at least 16 points in one card, which would require a very high tempo play. I do actually have the ability to do that because I have Woodland Spirit in my hand, and in this deck, Woodland Spirit is going to pull some other units out of my deck, so I should be able to beat 16 strength in one play. So let's see what happens when I play Woodland Spirit as an example of high tempo. So I have Roach that pulls out of my deck, I've got a Harpy, and I've got a Foglet. So in one play I managed to generate, I got 19 points on my side with that card, and I also did 2 damage with the Fog and 2 damage with the Frost. So that is an example of a very high tempo play that allowed me to swing a large strength gap in a single play. Alright, that's all there is to say at the moment about the very basics of tempo. In the next video, I'm going to go more into the difference between proactive and reactive cards and how that plays into tempo and when you want to play cards.